The recent episode of Helluva Boss was insanely epic. It had so much going on that there was no way I could talk about it all in just one video. So today we'll be taking a look specifically at the strange trippy dream sequences experienced by Moxxie and Blitz, what they say for their characters, their relationship, and perhaps even the future of the show. My name is Deepcut, welcome back to Cartoon Universe, and I love how many of you guys are watching these videos, but only a small percentage of you are actually subscribed. I get it, I hate me too, but on the off chance I'm misinterpreting your reason, maybe hit that subscribe button so we can move on from this awkward encounter. One thing I really loved about the original pilot was the relationship between Moxxie and Blitz. The two managed to capture a similar energy to Dwight, Jim, and Michael from the sitcom The Office, with Blitz's hyperactive annoyingness and Moxxie's inability to put up with literally any of it. In the episodes that followed that, their dynamic was explored considerably less, and I didn't feel like they were able to dig into that again until this recent episode, which they were immediately able to take and examine through the metaphorical lens of their individual drug trips. Moxxie is perhaps the least talented assassin at IMP, but that doesn't mean he is an expendable employee in any way. While we don't always see it on the missions that do take place in the show, the characters reference there being dozens of assassinations that take place in between episodes, and Moxxie apparently is a big part of that because of his skill with guns and other weaponry. It wouldn't surprise me to learn that a large number of their missions are simply done by Moxxie using his gun, something we even see in the pilot with the imps hiding in the bushes when Moxxie takes a shot. Despite that skill, he doesn't compare to Blitz, Millie, or apparently even Luna when it comes to more action-based combat, as we saw in the most recent episode. While his skill with guns ultimately makes their jobs easier, as soon as their cover is blown, it is up to the others and their more hand-to-hand combat approach to complete any mission. As such, Moxxie is made fun of a lot by Blitz, as we saw, and in this episode we learn that it affects Moxxie a lot more than he lets on. When Blitz and Moxxie are captured by the secret agents, they are given truth gas that ends up making them admit the things they hate most about each other in a heated moment. While their dynamic is generally played for laughs, we can see here that both hold back some of their darker thoughts, and with how blunt Blitz is, this implies that he doesn't say these things because he cares about Moxxie on some level, and the same goes for Moxxie with what he doesn't say to Blitz, despite all of the nonsense that he is willing to actually call Blitz on out throughout the series. In Moxxie's dream sequence, the focus is entirely just his relationship with Blitz, explained with beautiful animation and music reminiscent of the stage musical Phantom of the Opera, which background art suggests is a favorite of Moxxie's and one that he got to act in a production of in Hell. In this dream sequence, Moxxie indicates that the gas that is making him hallucinate is working with the gas that is making him honest, giving him something of a philosophical awakening. In this dream, he talks about his relationship with Blitz and how strained it can feel, but comes to the realization that if he's being tormented by Blitz in his dream, then Blitz should be being tortured by Moxxie in his hallucination, which of course turns out to be true, but more on that later. Moxxie's arc is really simple, in that he realizes that he just needs to be honest about some of the deeper pain he is feeling with Blitz, but of course that sort of torture only works if Blitz comes out of his own dream sequence with a similar idea. While there is a lot to break down, as far as Moxxie goes, Blitz's dream indicates that part of the reason he pushes Moxxie away is because he's afraid of genuine intimacy, and is only capable of orchestrating strained relationships that keep people at a distance. This is best showcased by the strange flying evils that I will refer to as Blitz's personal demons. In his dream, Blitz is wearing a clown costume, similar to the one he wore when working at Lululand, and something reminiscent of his circus act with his twin sister before that, though he didn't have to dress like a clown for it. Blitz had dreams of being famous, and then settled for being a clown at an amusement park, but seemed pretty jaded by the fact that he even failed to be popular doing that. This clown costume in his dream simply says that he sees himself as a clown, someone that everyone else gets to laugh at. One of those personal demons turned into a caricature of Moxxie, who tells Blitz off, insisting that any of Moxxie's failures are because of Blitz's poor command as a boss, which highlights why Blitz is so hard on Moxxie to begin with, because every time Moxxie does mess up, that reflects on Blitz, whether Blitz wants it to or not. The problem is that Blitz seems to worry that Moxxie is actually the smarter of the two of them, and is intimidated by Moxxie's pretentious use of language to hammer the point home. Following this, Blitz's three other personal demons began to manifest as three other characters, Verosica, Stryker, and either the original or robotic Fizzaroli. The Fizzaroli is presented in a different animation style. While the entire dream sequence is animated very differently from the regular show, Fizzaroli in particular is distorted to look like a classic black and white cartoon without any color, and complete with twisty and bendy rubber hose animation. We know for certain that Blitz knew RoboFizz, and we know we will be meeting the real Fizzaroli when we go to the Lust Ring, as seen in the teaser trailer that dropped earlier this year, where Fizzaroli appears on the shoulder of Big Ozzy, who we believe to be Asmodeus, the Prince of the Lust Ring. It wouldn't surprise me if they revealed that Blitz also knew the real Fizzaroli from his attempts at being a performer and in the circus, which would make the fact that Blitz couldn't even compete with a robot knockoff of Fizzaroli even more humiliating for him. The fact that Fizzaroli is here seems to imply, whether it's the real or Robo-Fizzaroli, that Blitz had something of an intimate relationship with him, though not in the traditional sense. The whole dream sequence is basically about how Blitz creates flawed relationships so that he can feel a sense of intimacy that he can claim is forced upon him. When it came to Veroska, we know that they actually dated, but it really only seemed to be because Blitz was her bodyguard, and this sequence implied that he didn't leave actually breaking up with Veroska, but that she would have broken up with him very soon if he had not run off. Stryker, of course, has very limited contact with Blitz, but they got extremely close in episode 5 when Stryker monologues about Blitz's superiority over the other imps, and how they should be using that in order to overturn their rulers. Blitz claims he was only pretending to take Stryker seriously, but in the moment he does seem to have some doubt, as well as legitimate attraction to Stryker, and that seems to be proven true in this sequence. Then of course Stolas is introduced, highlighting how Blitz manufactured a relationship where he gets to claim that he is not interested at all, yet still have someone doting on him. It isn't necessarily that he wanted any of these romances to work out in the traditional sense, but rather that he sets himself up for failure by only letting people in that will hold him at a distance, or by creating a scenario where he holds them at a distance but forces them to interact with him. Such as with Moxxie. Now, I'm not saying that he has any romantic interest in Moxxie, though Blitz did imply he has sexual interest in both him and Millie all the way back in episode 2. But in this moment, I think they are just establishing that Blitz felt threatened by Moxxie and could not admit to liking him as a person, so the only way to maintain that balance was to bully Moxxie relentlessly, but give him a job opportunity he could not pass up to keep Moxxie in his life, not as a romantic interest like he does with Stolas, but as a friend. Blitz realized that he doesn't need to be an asshole to Moxxie anymore, that they are already in each other's lives, and that keeping up this act will only push him away, likely taking Millie with him. Blitz and Moxxie come out of their hallucinations ready to apologize to one another, and while they won't be best buds in future episodes, they seem to be willing to put up with each other more now that they have an understanding that they really do respect each other underneath it all, and that when Blitz is hard on Moxxie, it's because he wants him to be the best he can be, not just for himself, but for Blitz too. But it isn't just Moxxie that Blitz walked away with a better appreciation for. While there is a lot of debate about what exactly the extent of Blitz's feelings for Stolas are, we can at the very least say that they are trending in a positive direction. In a previous video, I talked about how Blitz is something of a prisoner to Stolas, but in many ways Stolas is also a prisoner of Blitz's. They both get something they really want out of their relationship, and Blitz was the one who instigated it in order to get the grimoire to begin with. It appears, whether he knew it before or not, Blitz has realized that he does want some intimacy with Stolas, even if he has to keep him at arm's length still. But so far, these are just my theories. What do you guys think? Let me know in a comment down below, and I'll see you next time.